It weirdly feels like a must-win football game for the Houston Texans. Not only that, but it almost feels like they have to showcase something on offense, or something heading into the bye week has got to change. How do the Texans get this done? How do the Jaguars pull off the upset and hand the Texans their second consecutive loss to a 2-win football team? And who is going to win this matchup? Let's find out. Powered by my friends at BetUS. YouTube 150 is the code to get signed up over there at BetUS. So how do the Texans get this done? Well, let's start with the offense. That has to have a good showing, or I would make a change at offensive coordinator and do something different. The offense definitely needs to show up in this one. They definitely need to take care of business, and they need to score in the second half. They need to showcase things in the first half that work in the second half. They need to replicate things that work in the first half and get them going in the second half. They haven't been able to do that for the majority of the season. 6 straight weeks where they've had second half ineptitude. You add in the Buffalo game where they had to kick field goals against the Buffalo Bills in the second half of that matchup. It's been more than half of the season for the Houston Texans with their second half struggles. They're going to have to score in the second half to put the Jacksonville Jaguars away. This is a sneaky good defense that they're playing. And with the struggles that the Texans have had on their offensive line and protecting CJ Stroud, you got to think that the edge rushers for Jacksonville could have some success. That defensive line gets a little pressure, throws the Texans off. First of all, if you protect CJ Stroud, he should be able to dice this Jaguars team apart, okay? You should be able to go on the road with Nico Collins, Tank Dell, everybody else that you have, run the ball, set up some good passing stuff, and dice them apart. It sounds easy. It hasn't been easy for the Houston Texans, certainly not on the road either. They've had some hiccups on the road throughout the course of this season. But you think back to that New England Patriots game. They headed to a team that didn't feel like they were headed anywhere anytime soon, an environment that was not the most raucous, crazy environment, and they brought plenty of juice to the equation in the second half of that matchup. So my big key for the Texans to win this one: do something in the second half on offense. Take care of your business in the second half like they did against the New England Patriots. The defense is not going to carry you every single week. The defense isn't going to score every single week. So the offense needs to put some points on the board. Defensively for the Texans, look, the Jaguars are known for getting the ball out quick when Trevor Lawrence is playing. They've only allowed 26 sacks this season. They're one of the better teams from a pass protection standpoint and from a pressure percentage. So you've got to make Lawrence pay when he makes some of those quick decisions. You've got to tackle really well. The Texans have had some issues tackling over the past few weeks. You think back to what happened in the second half against Detroit. You think back to the Titans game. They've had some issues tackling. When he gets rid of the ball quick and makes a short pass, you've got to make it a short pass. Yak cannot be allowed to succeed for Jacksonville in this matchup, or the Texans are going to have a tough time beating the Jacksonville Jaguars. You've also got to control their rushing attack. Tank Bigsby's a fun player to watch. He's more physical than you really think he is. He's a little bit faster than you think he is. He is a guy that can help equalize things in this matchup. If he gets going, pounds the Texans defense a little bit with the running game, slows them down, opens some things up for Trevor Lawrence late, all of a sudden it's a close game late and Trevor Lawrence has a chance to get things going for Jacksonville. Don't let Tank Bigsby get going, and you should be fine. So make Lawrence pay when he does get rid of the ball quickly, and you got to keep Tank Bigsby from getting going and taking over this game on the ground. For the Texans, that's their defensive game plan. Offense, got to do something in the second half. Got to get something in the second half. Please, something, anything in the second half. And I'm not talking like games out of hand, 4-1 late against a team that's already done. No, not like the Dallas one. I'm talking come out of halftime, have something scripted up, and get it going. Okay? That's what the Texans got to do on offense. That's what they got to do to win this football game. You want to get in on this game? BetUS is the way to do it. YouTube 150 is the code. It's going to get you a 150% bonus up to $2,000 on your first deposit, and you can get in on this Texans and Jaguars game. Texans favorites in this one. The line opened at 6. It's down to 3.5. That hook scares me a little bit. If it got to 3, I'd probably be taking that. Here's where I am with this Texans team. This is a mojo bet because I'm either going to be disappointed that I won this wager, or the Texans are going to show me up and take care of business and score more than 23.5 points. I'm going under 23.5 because the offense doesn't inspire a lot of confidence right now. You can get in again. YouTube 150 is the code at BetUS. So, how do the Jaguars pull off a upset here? Well, we talked about their offensive plan against the Texans defense. Tank Bigsby's got to be a big part of it. They've got to hit some explosive plays. Think back to that first matchup that the Texans and the Jaguars had earlier this year. And think back to some of those plays that Trevor Lawrence missed by just a smidgen, just a little tiny bit. If he connected by a play here or there, they probably beat the Houston Texans in Houston earlier in the year, and maybe their whole season feels different. But he didn't hit those plays. He's got to hit some explosive plays. They've got to move the ball in large chunks because this is not a offense for the Jaguars that can move the ball consistently 10, 12, 11 plays on a drive against this Texans defense. Eventually, somebody will get home on Trevor Lawrence or somebody will make a big play on that defense. This is still a really good Houston Texans defense. So they have got to hit some explosive plays, get some of that chunk yardage, make things easier for Trevor Lawrence and that rushing attack. Defensively for Jacksonville, hey, of course, get after that Houston Texans offensive line, force some things to get goofy for CJ Stroud, hope that he doesn't put the cape on, turn into Superman, and take care of business against the Jaguars like he has been known to do from time to time, though Superman's cape's been buried deep in the closet because of some of the issues on offense for the Texans. And it would go a long way for the confidence of the Jaguars long term if Travon Walker would just have a big game. Look, Travon Walker, the number 1 overall pick from a couple of years ago, has been a disappointment, but he's sort of come on in this season, has got a little bit more juice to his game than past years. And if he could go out there and have a big day, disrupt the Texans, and maybe force a turnover, take advantage of one of those turnovers like the Tennessee Titans did last week against the Houston Texans, Jacksonville could be on their way to a victory. Now, ultimately, who is going to win this matchup? Well, I'm going to go with the Texans winning this one, but this one's going to be a close one. 17-16. Nothing that the Texans have done on offense inspires me to think that they're going to have a big offensive performance against the Jacksonville Jaguars. And for Jacksonville, they're probably good enough to move the ball into field goal range, kick a bunch of field goals. And if the Texans do have to deal with a quick change call off of a turnover, I like the Texans' chances on defense to stop the Jaguars from putting that into the end zone. So I'm going to go 17-16 is your final score in this one. It's not going to be pretty. If that's the case, that's probably not enough to save Bobby Slowick's job for the people like me who would maybe want a change at the offensive coordinator spot. But a win feels a lot better headed in the bye week than a loss does. What say you? Let me know in the comment section down below on your way down there. Of course, you know the drill. Thumbs up on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and check out BetUS with that code YouTube150 for that 150% bonus up to $2,000 on your first deposit. So, game day. Happy game day to you. Hope you enjoy today's game. Hope they give us something to be interested in a good way, because they were interesting in a bad way last week against the Tennessee Titans. And hey, wouldn't it be nice if Bobby Slowick and the offense made me eat my under betting words? Wouldn't be nice for my wallet, but it'd be nice for the enjoyment of the football game. Appreciate you watching the video. Hope you enjoyed it. Happy game day. Talk to you after the game on YouTube. Can't wait till we talk Texans, I guess, later today. Thanks for watching, everybody.